Madam Regent, I would like to introduce you to Dr. Glenn Paige, our speaker today. He received his Doctor of Medicine from Louisiana State University. He is an expert witness, speaker, and consultant in anesthesiology and pain management. He was an assistant professor at the University of Florida College of Medicine and worked for nearly 2 decades as an anesthesiologist in Hickory. He has served as the Chief of Staff and on Board of Trustees at Fry Regional Medical Hospital. Glenn is a Blue and Gold Officer for the United States Naval Academy and is an ambassador for the Navy SEAL Foundation, as well as the Tampa Bay Frogman Swim. You'll have to ask him about that. That has a neat name. Dr. Glenn Paige has also competed in marathons, triathlons, and Ironman competitions. He is married to Dr. Michelle Brown, who is also an anesthesiologist and a marathoner herself. I'm very pleased and honored to introduce our speaker today, Dr. Glenn Paige.
All right, good afternoon. That's quite an introduction. Don't believe everything you hear. I'm honored to be with you here today and share our history and values as we define our great and unique nation. The Daughters of the American Revolution has stood the test of time for over a century and is a living testament to the enduring spirit of patriotism. Today, I want to speak to you about what patriotism means in our lives and how it was forged in the crucible of struggle, courage, and the unyielding belief in the ideals of liberty, freedom, and justice. I will touch upon some of the symbolism and important moments in our history. The Daughters of the American Revolution reminds us that we are inheritors of a legacy that stretches back to the founding of the United States. We are the descendants of those who fought for the cause of freedom during the American Revolutionary War. Almost 250 years ago, your ancestors were ordinary men and women who exhibited extraordinary bravery. They held fast to the belief that our nation should be founded on the principles of democracy, freedom, equality, and justice. Patriotism is not just about waving flags and singing anthems. It's about honoring the sacrifices that were made to secure our freedom. We must never forget the sacrifices that have been made by so many and should never take our freedom for granted. But patriotism isn't just an echo from the past. Now, more than ever, it's a call to action. We have a responsibility to stand as defenders of the principles that your ancestors fought for. We must remain vigilant in protecting our democratic institutions, safeguarding the rights of all citizens, and upholding the values of equality and justice for all. Our commitment to these principles is what makes us true patriots. One of the most powerful ways we can express our patriotism is through education. We must ensure that future generations understand the sacrifices made by your ancestors, those currently serving, and the importance of a strong, united nation. By sharing stories, preserving historical sites, and supporting educational programs, we inspire a sense of patriotism in others. I am blessed to have as a good friend General James Mattis, the former Secretary of Defense, who I feel is a role model for patriotism. He talks about America being the greatest country in the world, but admits it's flawed and it's not perfect. Benjamin Franklin called it the Great Experiment. Early on, the founders wondered if the experiment would survive. Now, too many people take our nation, our democracy, this experiment, for granted. We all need to be on the same path to maintain this union. World War II Marine Corporal E.B. Sledge, author of With the Old Breed, said it best: our country doesn't need to be perfect to be worth fighting for. We all need to give our best. We just recited the Pledge of Allegiance. The Pledge of Allegiance has a connection to the formation of our nation. It's a journey through history and a reflection on the values that bind us together as one people. In the late 19th century, America had survived the Civil War and was experiencing a surge of immigration and growth. It was during this time that the Pledge of Allegiance came into being. In 1885, Captain George Thacher Balt wrote the original pledge. The initial revision was in 1892 by Francis Bellamy and was part of a campaign to promote patriotism and unity among school children. The original pledge read, "I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." It was a concise declaration of loyalty to the principles on which our nation was founded: unity, liberty, and justice. Over the years, the pledge evolved, and the words "my flag" were replaced with "the flag of the United States of America." In 1954, during the height of the Cold War, the phrase "under God" was added to the pledge, reinforcing America's commitment to freedom and democracy in the face of external threats like communism. The Pledge of Allegiance has always been about unity. It's a unifying force that reminds us of our shared commitment to the principles enshrined in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. When we recite the pledge, we're not just expressing our loyalty to a flag, we're reaffirming our dedication to the ideals that make America exceptional. Today's pledge captures the essence of our nation, a nation that embraces diversity, values freedom, and seeks justice for every citizen. This flag, what does it represent? It's an American flag, but what else do we see? We see red, white, and blue. Red represents sacrifice, valor, bravery. White stands for purity and innocence. Blue, justice and freedom. But if you look even more closely, this flag is a union of threads that together make fabric. Each of us are those threads as individuals, as citizens, as Americans. It's our mission to surround ourselves with people who will make a positive influence on our nation and be the threads that create this fabric. Our country's not perfect, but it's the best there is. And we have an opportunity to make a positive impact and make it better. You can make a difference. In John F. Kennedy's inaugural address, he attempted to inspire children and adults to see the importance of civic action and public service. His historic words, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country," challenged every American to contribute in some way to the public good. Those words have never been more meaningful than they are today. We currently live in an increasingly narcissistic, egocentric, and selfish world. We need to stand up to hatred, discrimination, and anti-Semitism. Everyone needs to look to become more selfless, to better our nation and the great experiment called the United States of America. May we forever stand united under this banner of freedom and equality as one nation, indivisible. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Paige?
I do.
There's one in every crowd.
Do I need to wave the white flag?
No, tell us about the Navy SEAL Foundation. I know you're very active, and you and your wife Michelle, you do a lot of triathlons and raising money and awareness for the Navy SEAL Foundation. Talk about that a little bit.
So the Navy SEAL Foundation was formed back in 2001. It serves the Naval Special Warfare community, not just SEALs, but SWCC officers and their families. That's Special Warfare Combatant Crew members. It's based on pillars of strength, health, resiliency, education, and community, which is commemoration of those lost or memorials to the fallen. I've been involved with them since I got involved in the Tampa Bay Frogman Swim back in 2012. This will be my 12th year swimming across Tampa Bay. We do it in January. It's 3.5 mile ocean swim across Tampa Bay. It's a little nippy, but it is worth it when you think about the sacrifices that not only these operators go through, but what their families go through. We host Gold Star families at the event in Tampa, along with multiple other events throughout the year. But it's just one of those things. I've been blessed to be allowed to be involved in this community, and it's been very meaningful.